Like, I feel like now that Jesus is my king, instead of me trying to be king, I no longer get nervous around Paul Vanderklay.
Yeah, there's something, well, I think this is really interesting. Like this is a really, really salient thing to me, which is that how we, you know, the impressions of others and stuff like that, right? And I think it's the vertical and the horizontal. That's like how I think about this, where it's like this relational status game is like this, and then there's like the moving towards your individuated self hierarchy, like union with Christ, embodiment of the logos dimension. And it's like when we prioritize the horizontal, it's not good. It's like we lean out and we fall and like, and but when we're rooted in the vertical and that is our primary thing, it's like our status and our serotonin comes from how connected with God we are, and it's like how one with God we are. And as far as I experience it, like this is how I've been thinking about it. And I don't mean to claim that I like have this, balance perfectly by any means, but then that becomes like there's almost like a sense of security is the wrong word because it's too like strict in my mind, but it's like there's a rootedness where it's like you won't be pushed by these horizontal things.
You said primary, like go that vertical dimension primary. I like that, but
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that you ignore the horizontal either.
No, 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 for
Right,
sure.
right. I just
Yeah,
wanted to make that clear. Like
yeah,
that's
no,
kind
I
of
think that's
yeah.
a good thing to add. One thing that's interesting though is like there's a there's like the vertical principle, and like then there's like staying in one place, like actually being totally vertical. It's like that's why you see like monks and stuff who like don't go anywhere. And you can see this in like the horizontal nature of our time period, as we approach the confrontation with Lucifer. Um, that it's all horizontal. It's all cars everywhere. It's like we're all spread out. There's no localism. It's no concentration. But I'm reminded of like this whole idea of like the divine Aquarian individual who is like autonomous in a way. And there's something where I connect that with like the idea of like the Holy Spirit is available to everyone, where it's like there's a certain thing where you can travel with your vertical rootedness without like having to stay in one place, and like to be in yourself and to be at home everywhere or something like that. And it's like there's something very salient about that to me because I've throughout my whole life I've had issues with like kowtowing to other people for whatever reasons. That seems like one of those things where it's like deep psychology stuff that is hard to speak about. But
I mean,
this is
I've
what
had
I've
similar experiences,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I
I
can.
feel like especially a lot of guys have, because when it comes to um the ladies, it's like uh do we perform confidence or do we be confident? And it's like is this how we want to, what is like to be in, to have integrity is like true confidence. It's when you can confide in yourself and like um but like it's so performative nowadays, that it's, yeah, so that's something I struggle. But this whole idea of like the vertical and the horizontal has been like super helpful for me, at least when I can remember it. So remember God, that's always what it is. Like you said, there'll be occasional moments where, a moment of love. It made me think about this idea of meta temporality. Each of those moments, that's a moment where you get connected or something, or like the connection happens. And it's like those moments you can you were talking about extending the moments, right? And it's like extending those moments so that
Right.
they happen longer. And it's like that's when the eschaton or something is like, that's when you are in relationship with it. It's like to make those moments where we're unifying heaven and earth, to make those longer.
But then it wasn't you who did it. That's the thing that's interesting. Committing my life to Jesus as my king and taking that seriously.
Yeah,
Then
man.
all of a sudden there's something happens where I'm up higher on this wave. I've been playing in this little area down here in like the kiddie pool,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden it's like I'm feeling something pull me up, and it's like it's very strange.
The word that's ringing in my mind is participation and participatory knowing. It's not something you do, but it's also not something that just happens to you, you know? It's like you kind of have to like set the logs up in the right way on the fire and then it catches or something, you know? And it's like that participation with it's like participating if we think about the logos as like the wave that is like fundamentally underlying everything, then it's like to harmonize with that wave is a participatory thing. It's like a dance, like you said, you know, it's like to you hear the music and you dance, and you know you can do that on your own to a certain degree, you know, and like I think of the monks and stuff, but even the monks, you know, are in fellowship, the ecclesia, and I think this is churches, you know, it's like going into church and participating as a larger body. It's like that's when it really gets interesting, and I think that yeah, the heights of that are tremendous, you know, like in the true sense. It's like, wow, like who knows how high this can go. And
then it's kind of like hard. It's like, how do people communicate about this thing that can only be experienced, right? Like we try to use words and books and create content. It's like, it's
yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Maybe the way you communicate it is through action, you know. You know, maybe God can put you in a place where you get to embody it, where people say, whoa. I wish the prayer would be that, man, the thing that God did for me, it's like, why can't everybody get it? You know, we got to figure out how to let people taste it, you know?
Yeah, man, for real. Like, that's what's up. Very well said. You know, example is the school of mankind to a large extent. It's like, so when we see it, when you behold something, when you have an experience of this true love. And also, I think another thing that comes to mind is music. You know, like I think music really aids in this process, you know, because it helps you to participate. It's like you sync up with the music. And I think that that's very powerful. Back to what we were saying about example, like I think it's like to just be holy. The people who are truly holy, you know, in their life, those are the tanks, like holding down the fort, like in a metaphysical way.
Like the saint, the story I told about the guy who went to court and was willing to give up his house, that to me, that's like a saint. So these saints that know God and are and know unconditional love and are incarnating that unconditional love into the world are doing a lot of good.
Yeah, man. And it's like it's not my will, it's thy will. It's like, you know, to do those good things. It's like the people who are truly holy, they are participating optimally.